Essen's coming up and we're not going, but it's fine. It's time for the best of Board Game Geek.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nick.
I'm Mike.
We are the Brothers Murphy, and that is right. Essen is very soon. We're not going to be there. BGG people will be there, so make sure to say hi to all of them if you see them.
Go say hey. Go spend some time.
Indeed. Listen to the best of BGG. We talk about some news, some cool stuff on BGG. We talk about the 10 hottest games of the month, and let's go ahead and get right in the news.
So the Board Game Geek store is always something to keep track of, as there's always new stuff. They've got some nice wooden components for Dolce, some metal sweet components for the Reckoners, which kind of goes along with the metal steel heart. Very cool. They also have these kind of generic microfiber drawstring bags, which are really useful if you're like me and you kind of got some sizable mitts on you. Oftentimes the little drawstring bag that might come in a game to pull tokens out of or whatever kind of thing you need to keep a mystery is kind of small, and I can't really get my hand in there and get the bits out easily. So these bags are nice and large, which is sweet. So it makes life easy for getting your hand in there and pulling out whatever thing you need. They've done many of these for specific games as well. And these are kind of just general. So if you need something for any old game, there's just different colors to choose from. That's something I think is actually super duper useful. As always, check out the store update pretty much every month for a whole new list of stuff and promos and so much more.
A bit of board game news actually involves one of our best friends. This is Jamie from Foster the Meeple. Jamie from Foster the Meeple is now being brought onto the BGG team to do some solo mode videos. Jamie loves solo gaming, has loved solo game for a long time, and is now doing solo mode games for BGG. These are playthroughs and teaches of these games solo. There's been one for Final Girl and one for Planet Unknown that have come out so far, and they're really, really fun. So we just wanted to talk about it. We love when BGG brings on some of our friends. They brought in Our Family Plays Games recently, some of our other friends. It's been awesome to have more of our friends come on to BGG, and we really, really love Jamie. She's incredible at what she does, and her solo playthroughs are really, really good. And BGG didn't have any really solo specific content, so now she's filling that void, which is really, really great. So make sure to check out Solo Mode by Jamie from Foster the Meeple, and make sure to check out Foster the Meeple too, because they're great.
This is a little bit of Board Game Geek news for you. We're gonna hop down to the table right here to go over the hottest games of the month.
All right, it is time to talk about the 10 hottest games of the month. These were games that were all over the hotness, all over the month. People clicking on them, people talking about them, and people are interested in them. So let's go ahead and get into number 10. Number 10 is a game that we're pretty darn interested in. This is Kutná, the City of Silver.
Yes, this is from CGE, Czech Games
Which
Edition.
I'm instantly interested in, always.
They always make, these Euro games that are in a weight range that we typically personally like, and this one seems to be the same. It's a city builder and stuff, so everyone's kind of, vying for space and trying to kind of have the most contributions.
Yeah.
Of course, you are collectively working toward building a cathedral, because that's what everyone did.
And it's a Czech city, which makes sense for CG.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But this also has a really cool thing with, I think they call it rewood. Their components are these highly detailed.
It's got some new technology in it.
Yeah, these highly detailed, almost look like minis, but they're made of wood.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a sustainable, more eco-friendly way to produce components, which I'm super excited for. The pieces look amazing.
They're really good looking, really high quality.
Very colorful.
Yeah, it uses I think compressed wood pulp and stuff. CGE has a video on it. Eleni did a video on it. Sure. It's super, super cool. But Kutná seems like right up our alley. CGE Euro game about a European city. We're in. Let's be honest, we're in. And so super, super excited for that. Excited for this new technology that's coming in. I think it's really, really cool. And so Kutná seems really, really good. I think it's releasing at Essen.
I believe so.
And so
I believe they maybe had some copies of Gen Con and now at Essen. Yeah,
should be able to get in people's hands. Really, really excited for this one. That's number 10. Let's get number 9.
Number 9 is Food Chain Magnate. Now, specifically, this is back on the hotness because it's been fueled by the announcement from Lucky Duck Games, who's doing a kind of deluxe new edition.
Food Chain Magnate,
a Food Chain Magnate, which will include the expansion in one box.
New art, some new pieces and stuff like that, and just kind of sprucing it up. As a lot of Splotter games are relatively basic in terms of the way they look.
Yeah, they kind of bare bones it.
They kind of bare bones it, and so and that has turned some people off, and so they've coming in. But the gameplay of Food Chain Magnate people love. You are running kind of like a fast food empire, and you're doing different kinds of advertisements, setting up stuff. But this is a tough Euro game. I've actually never played it. You've played it.
Yeah, I played several times. You have to get out that gate. Turn one has to be good, or else you're out.
Which is a tough pill for me to swallow. I have a hard time with games like that, but I've always wanted to try it.
But there's different routes to success. It's not like you have to have the same turn. So this one has what you've been kind of waiting on.
Yes.
Is that better
new art? Yes.
Because it just didn't speak to you.
No.
And this seems to keep the idea of kind of the old-timey art from the 50s and stuff. But, the art in those days and stuff on the billboards was really beautiful.
Yeah.
So now we have that kind of evoking that era.
Yeah. And Lucky Duck
really nice art. And
they're going to do it well.
Yeah,
Lucky Duck does
job,
great stuff. So super excited about that. Other people are talking. So everyone's clicking on Food Chain Magnate to try to learn more.
Yeah.
So it popped back in the hotness. But yeah, so Food Chain Magnate, it's getting kind of a new deluxe version.
Can't
and honestly,
wait.
I'm here for it. So that's number 9. Let's get number 8. Number 8 is a game that is also releasing at SN, and this is going to be Nucleum by Board&Dice, who I feel like usually has a new SN release every year.
Yeah, they have a big presence at SN, so
yeah.
they usually time up one of their games for that
and
time of year.
we've played Nucleum a number of times now.
Yeah.
We were able to come home with a prototype copy from Gen Con, and we really like it. David Turczi and Simone Luciani, and just an all-star team, and it's really, really good. You're trying to bring power to different power plants in like Saxony, Germany, and you are then trying to power up your different buildings around town.
Buildings in different cities around.
Yeah, but it's got this really cool like action selection system where your action tiles, you could use as actions, but you also put them out on the board as like railways. So then you lose those, so you then have to get more actions and stuff. It's just a really cool game. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of like a classic Euro, classic board and dice game where you're trying to combo certain things together, extract as much as you can out of every turn. To kind of push. There's different technologies that everyone has, so everyone's a little asymmetric, everyone's a little bit different, and there's just a lot of fun things to explore. So we personally really enjoyed playing this one.
Yeah, I really like it a lot. Nucleum's really, really fun. If you like that kind of classic board and dice stuff, you'll probably like it. If you like David Turczi, Simone Luciani, you'll probably like it. I really, really enjoy it. And Nucleum is number 8. Let's get number 7. I was interested mostly because of the cat.
Look.
That cat is selling copies of this game.
And printing presses go together. It's old-timey stuff, and cats, which are eternal all time. This is printing press, so this is about running your own printing press in the early days of
when
this
they
technology.
came out.
And you are trying to, I'd say like, it's contract fulfillment. You have like a certain order that people want, and you're trying to lay out these little cards, these little strips.
They look almost like domino kind of looking.
Kind of like domino little cards, and you're trying to line them up so that you get as many things that match that order as possible, but you have to ultimately put down this frame around it all, because that's what's within your printing press, and that's what you print. And you kind of want to maximize as much as you can to get as accurate as possible.
Yeah, it's got a great look to it. The second I saw it on the Hotness, I clicked on it, I was like, what's that? Because it's got that kind of like, Gutenberg had like a similar look. It's got this kind of like pretty Euro game look to it. That box cover looks, and it's about like a printing press, which is very kind of Euro gamey. So I mean, it's like, oh, this is cool. And I was like, oh yeah, it seems, I don't know how heavy it is. I'm curious. It seems like it's probably like a nice medium weight, light, medium puzzle. And I'm like, okay, I'm here for those kinds of games. I love those kinds of games. And so it seems really, really cool. And I always like, this burgeoning technology. Like, it's always an interesting concept of like, oh, we're talking about printing presses. We're talking about this for the first time, that for the first time. I think it's always very cool.
Totally agree. Yeah, it's one that I want to hopefully track down soon and see if we can give it a go, because it just seems like a fun puzzle, if nothing else, to kind of figure out how to lay out all your cards and stuff to make the most accurate order as possible. So that is printing press at number 7. Let's hop into number 6.
Number 6 is also getting a new version, which is why it's here. This is Yokohama, and I'm not gonna lie, I saw this new cover and I was just like, whew. So this news is coming from Synapses Games.
Yes, so TMG had it before and stuff, and we have that version. Of course, looks great too.
Yeah.
But this new cover is just really
because originally from Wikazu brand, but then who brought it over here was TMG, but TMG is no more. So it looks like Synapses is picking up, redoing the art, and man, I like the look of the old version, but this one looks really, really pretty.
Yeah, the cover's really pretty. I'm excited to see how it
all the boards,
how the boards and everything, if they, how they look with that kind of same reflected art style. This is a great game. I'm glad that it's going to have the ability to be in people's hands more, because Yokohama's been very hard to find recently. I do believe it's on Board Game Arena, so you can play it, but
I think so.
it's been hard to come by. So I'm stoked to see that this game has another life. Beautiful new art. Just really excited to find out more. So Synapses, thanks for picking that one up. We appreciate that.
It looks real good. Yeah, I like the game a lot. I'm curious to see what's new. What it probably won't be new in terms of gameplay, but just the look and stuff. Yeah,
absolutely. It's a classic game. You're just kind of going around and almost route building with your workers and stuff.
It's very, very good game. Classic at this point. Yokohama is number 6. Let's get number 5. So number 5 I'm gonna talk about again a little bit later in this video.
are.
But nonetheless, this is gonna be the White Castle.
It's good.
The White Castle is
Real good.
It's a game by Devere, kind of along the same lines as Red Cathedral in terms of like size of game, stuff like that. Big combo-y game where you're putting people inside the White Castle.
Magic
Castle, and you can put out like gardeners and courtiers and warriors, and you're basically just trying to combo a whole bunch of different stuff.
Absolutely. A lot of the actions you take, so you only get 9 turns in the game, but a lot of the turns you take will trigger whole other actions.
Yeah.
So you might have a turn where you do 3 kind of full turns worth of stuff, assuming you have the resources and things to do that on that same turn. So this game is all about finding those combos and triggering as many kind of cascading things as possible, which is just so fun to play with. We love this game.
Yes, it's incredible.
Oh man, it's really fun. So yeah, it's just if you like that kind of thing where you're gonna try to see the matrix a little bit, and like I'm gonna go here and that's gonna go over here, that's gonna give me this bonus to do this action down here, then I'm gonna do that, which is gonna give me that thing over there.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's just so cool to have a game with a relatively small footprint. You only get 9 measly turns, but you can do so much within that. Oh, it makes you. It's a game that makes you feel clever.
Yes, it does.
Which always is one that we enjoy.
Yeah, it's awesome. White Castle's number 5.
So good.
Go ahead and get number 4. Number 4 is a remake of Reiner Knizia classic remake. This is Cascadero, which is a remake, but this one now has Eno Tool art, which I feel like now it's like, hey, let's remake this game, but let's get Eno Tool to do the art. And
smart move. I recommend.
Gosh,
do that.
this is a smart move. This is one of the prettiest covers in the game. My gosh, Eno Tool is just the absolute goat of board game art. I mean, really,
no one better.
But yeah, so this is a game where you're kind of trying to, I believe, plays out tiles and trying to kind of take over territory and stuff like that. But you're mostly trying to build these big chains and these big combos.
Yeah, so you're kind of sending out these envoys and things to these different towns. But if you send a single, person, they're not really they don't care about that. But if you get kind of like an official group, they have an official seal, or there's a group of folks, there's kind of like an established connection with these towns, then things trigger. So. You can, in theory, create these long chains of connection, kind of play the long game where you can create kind of disparate groups. And I think my thinking is that you have this group over here, this group over here that aren't triggering yet. Then you put something in the middle that now connects them all and chains
that's
them
my
off.
assumption,
So I'm super excited to see like how the tiling works, how things play out, and how you kind of can chain stuff together. I think it's gonna be really interesting. And it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Reiner Knizia, obviously a new indie designer, but doing good stuff so far. And then Eno Tool just coming in and crushing it per usual. Super excited for Cascadero. It looks very beautiful. I'll buy it just because of that cover alone. That's number 4. Let's go to get number 3. Number 3 is right up our alley because it's the yearly Vladimir Suki Essen release.
Yeah, the new Delicious Games.
And this is Evacuation. We are humongous Vladimir Suki fans. We love everything he does, and especially recently with Delicious Games, which is his own publishing company. Woodcraft is so good. Praga is so good. I mean, just really crushing
cranking out a lot of great.
And Evacuation is about, he's done this before where it's like, the world's dying. Let's move to a new planet, or let's move underwater. And so you are essentially having to move planets because this planet isn't working for us anymore, basically.
Yeah, and you're having to move kind of your whole economy. Like on, the planet that we're from, everything's set up and built and it's running at full capacity. So you have to sort of dismantle that and sort of rebuild it over here. And your economies and things and the resources are all separate.
You're trying to balance those two things.
Yeah, so I think it's about the timing of like, how much do I, deplete from this area? How quickly can I get built up over here so you're not left with nothing?
Yeah.
Super excited by that kind of the dual economies.
Wild.
Thing and the timing of all that's gonna be fascinating.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you're gonna feel under the gun time-wise, as you typically are in Vladimir Suki games.
I'm sure you'll have like 14 turns, as you seem to always have in Vladimir Suki games.
To build a whole planet.
Yeah.
But I'm just so curious. Really interesting theme as well. So.
Yeah, it just looks so cool. The board has like the 2 planets next. It just seems, I love that balance of like, you still need the stuff over here because it's giving you money, it's giving you resources, but you have to like kind of bring it down. Like, and it's like, that seems like a very interesting balance. And I love Vladimir Suki games, so I am always in.
Well, there you have it.
And that's number 3. Let's go ahead and get number 2. Number 2 is about Space Bees.
Space Bees! Let's go. Apiaries up here.
The classic theme of Space Bees.
Absolutely. So this is the new Stonemeyer game.
Yes. Guanchai Mori art, one of my favorite artists as
Wasn't
well.
Guanchai always destined to make Space Bees at some point?
Yes.
It just seems like everything that Guanchai does comes together.
It's his magnum opus.
It's so good. So this is a worker placement game from a new designer and stuff. So this is Stonemaier Games has been bringing new people into the fold, which I think has been a really good move.
It's been really cool. But yeah, it's like a worker placement game, and you are bees, but you're bees like in the future, because the bees have become sentient and have like grown to like huge size, and now they're like they're all over it. And now they're like realizing they can go out into space. It seems really, really cool. And honestly, like, I really like Stonemaier games in general, so it's like, I love, especially like Stonemaier worker placement games is like,
I'm always gonna want to try their game.
And I just like things with different themes. Like, space bees. It's like, what a weird theme, but like, I also love freaking, what's the rat one? Not space, what was it called? The one where they were trying to go to the moon.
Rat Moon, First Rat.
There you go. Yeah, I was like, I love this kind of
behind us.
Yeah, totally.
I love Rat one.
But I'm super here for Apiary. Anytime Stonemaier announces a new game, it immediately pops on the hotness because it's just a hype engine. But really, really excited. Excited for a new designer. Cool theme, Quanchai art. Let's go. I'm super excited for Apiary. It's number 2.
Number 1 is Dragon Eclipse. One that we've been more and more personally interested. Our friends over at Foster the Meeple, who we mentioned Jamie earlier in this video.
Yes, indeed.
Played this one recently. And, it's Awakened Realms, and they always make interesting stuff, but I didn't know anything about it, and so I'm like, some dragon game. And then they started showing me the piece, and the dragon are kind of like, they look like a little Pokemon.
They are, You're
adorable.
Like building, you're like evolving them, you're taming them. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we got some Pokemon.
Like every review of it is like, it's kind of like cool Pokemon.
I'm down for that.
Love Pokemon.
And then I heard it's like a 1 or 2 player cooperative game. So like the more I keep hearing about it, I'm like, dude, I'm now properly excited for this game. Like I didn't, you hear Dragon Eclipse, I just wasn't expecting that this is what that game would be.
Well, and the game is advertised as like it feels like a TCG, like a trading card game, like Pokemon or like Magic. But without like the, will I get this card? Will I get the Charizard? Will I get the Blastoise? Yeah. It's just like all the cards are always in the game. So it feels kind of like a TCG, but without that like risk of getting just a bunch of Rattatas kind of situation.
Hey man, listen, Rattata could be cool.
Not really. I also like Ekans. It's just snake backwards. You love to see it. And so sometimes they gave up on the names.
Branding.
Yeah, and Arbok is just Cobra backwards. You're like, wow, good job, Pokemon. But nonetheless, it's like, it seems really, really cool. And the fact that it's like 1 to 2 players, which means it's probably mostly a 1-player game in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's
and it's co-op, incredible minis. It's Awaken Realm. They always do incredible minis. And then like the Pokemon aspect, the TCG aspect.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
I'm just like, the more I heard about this game, I kept getting more and more excited. And now that it's out, it's on, at least as a recording, it's still on GameFound right now. So you actually can see more of it. I'm just like, man. And then a couple of our friends who have played it like loved it. And we were like, oh man, I'm really excited for this one now.
Yeah, it's one that I wasn't expecting or hadn't given a thought to until people started talking about it. I'm like,
man, yeah. So Dragon Eclipse is number 1. It's been parked in the hotness all month, and it's people are really excited for it. It's done quite well.
Awaken Realms that make a splash.
Indeed, that is the hotness. So the very last thing we do is always talk about the most played games of the month.
Yeah, we always find it really interesting to see like what are people playing on a given month, and maybe what has affected that.
This one's kind of weird.
This month is strange.
It's kind of weird. A couple of stalwarts that are always in the top 10 play game months are not here.
So number 1, this is number 10 on the list. I think I've contributed a bit to this. It's Spirit Island. 4,200 plays.
Then we have Turing Machine with 4,213. That's now on BGA, so that'll probably be on here now.
One after the other. Magic the Gathering is usually around. It's number 8 at 4,509.
There you do. And then the next one is Cascadia, which is 4,860. People getting ready for that expansion.
I can't wait for it. Disney Lorcana now on the list, so we'll probably see this around for a while. It's at 6,109.
Then we have Azul with 6,311 plays. Again, played a lot on BGA.
Sea Salt and Paper, which is also on Board Game Arena, and very playable, quick game. One that I really enjoy with great art is 6,621 plays.
Yeah, it's indeed. God, the art's so good. Wingspan is next with 6,679 plays.
We've got Marvel Champions kind of making a return to form. I think they have some new content coming out. Is at 7,138 plays.
And then on top by almost 3,000 is Arc Nova with 9,910. It was already in the top 10, but once it got on BGA, I would love to see this list non-BGA.
Right.
Because so many of these things, because people log their plays on BGA, which is a totally fair way to log games.
Absolutely.
But because you're playing the games. That's totally, I have nothing against that. I would just be curious about like physical games versus BG, because almost every single thing on here, with the exception of Magic, I think Cascadia, Lorcana,
Spirit
and
Islands.
Marvel Champions,
And Spirit
all the rest of them were because of BGA.
Yep.
Like realistically. So it's like,
up.
it's such an interesting concept, like how much BGA gets played.
Yeah, it's cool. The Board Game Arena is making
it's so cool.
access to games that
But
much
usually
easier.
both the crews are on the list.
Yeah,
And
they're way
they're
down
like
the
down to
list.
like 16, 17 this month. Apparently people were like no crew this month. But nonetheless, that's the 10 most
Fair
played
enough.
games month. Make sure to log your games on BGG so it manipulates this list, get the crew back on the list.
Come on, let's do it.
And then let's go ahead and get into some Murph picks. My Murph pick is gonna be a stats-based one, and this is by user Lord T, who does a kind of monthly recap of the top 50 games of all time on BGG. And Lord T has been doing this for a while and has all sorts of stats about the top 50 games. It talks about whether or not they moved up or down. It talks about the new ratings they got, the new like owners they got. So basically people mark it as owned, those kinds of things for every single game in the top 50. And it's just so interesting to kind of go through these. I, like a lot of board gamers love stats. I think a lot of board gamers are stat heads. We're all kind of huge nerds, right? So I love looking at stats like this and just figuring like, ooh, this is cool. This one moved up. Oh, this one only got a couple of new owns. This one got a whole bunch of new ratings. Maybe that's gonna start moving up. It's just interesting to look at all of this stuff. So big shout out to Lord T for putting this together. I just think it's really, really cool. And I love seeing board gamers be passionate in this kind of way. I tend to, for my Murph picks, pick things like 3D printed files or things like this, because I just love seeing board gamers so passionate about a board game or board games as a whole that they're gonna spend a ton of their free time not only playing board games, but doing stuff like this, putting together a whole bunch of stats, making some cool homemade rules, making a 3D printed file for this kind of game over here. I just think it's really, really cool. And this is right up my alley. So make sure to check out Lord T and their stats they do every single month. It's a geek list. It's really, really cool. I absolutely love it.
My Murph pick is simple. I don't know if this is real or if this is something we can get, but these are some metal coins for Arc Nova that are so beautiful. they're naturey and animal themed and things. And I don't know, there's no information to come with it saying that like, is this a thing? Can I buy these? Where can I get these? Did someone make these? Are they from some other game? I don't know, but I just want it for my copy of Arc Nova because it's so pretty.
All right, so those are some quick Murph picks right there. So last thing we always do, and please participate down in the comments below, we always talk about our favorite personal game of the month. What was your favorite thing you played this month?
Okay, so Spirit Island. We're not gonna bury the lead here.
Okay.
Spirit Island, this is a game that I played a few times many years ago now.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to try it again because I was like,
It's
you know
just kind
what?
of been this albatross. We're just kind of like, oh, it's too heavy, it's too much, it's too much.
And I'm like, I don't think it is. I think it'll be fun. I mean, it's not an easy game,
We're
but in terms
geniuses.
of how it works, it's not hard to understand. So I started playing it. I now have the app for it so I can play it digitally just to be able to try out Spirits kind of a little more easily.
Yeah.
And it's been so fun to explore.
Yeah, I know, you've really been enjoying it. Yeah, which is awesome.
Such a good game.
My favorite game of the month is The White Castle, which is probably front runner for game of the year for me. I really, really like White Castle. It's so good. It's kind of a sequel-ish, or it's the same kind of line of games of Red Cathedral. They're not similar at all in terms of theme or gameplay,
dice
but
drafting.
just kind of that small box Devere line. But dice drafting, and man, it's just combo wombos. It's all, you only have 9 turns in the game, but a lot of times you can combo to do multiple actions on your turn. So it's just about trying to do as much as possible, and holy crap, it's so good. It's got a small box, small footprint, which is a way bigger flex than a huge box with a huge footprint.
Game smaller.
It's just so good. It's quick with like 2 players. It's like 45 minutes.
So
it's
nice, man.
incredible. I really like White Castle. Cannot wait to play it more.
It's such a good game. So those
Yeah.
are our picks of our favorite games we played this month. But let us know in the comments. New game, old game. We have one of each this month. What's been the favorite thing you've played this month?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below.
Indeed, and that's going to be it for us. This is the best of BGG. I am Nick.
I'm Mike.
We're the Brothers Murph, and we'll see you later, everybody.
Bye.